right. We appreciate everybody for joining. Let's kick things off.
My name is Jacob Zagata.
My name is Jose Baltazar.
My name is Brandon Johnson.
My name is Jaleese Morris.
My name is Tony Awujadu.
I'm Byron George.
I'm a co-founder and general partner with Cascades Ventures.
When I think about this vision, it really just comes from a place of lived experience. As a son of an entrepreneur, I think about the businesses that my mother had started and how much that she could have used additional support, but also the power of a community that really helps.
Cascades to me means working with my community, in my community, to change my community. Right? Like, you don't often hear that language when you talk about venture capital, but that's what we've been doing in investing for a while. Investing in businesses, investing in real estate, and that's what we're going to be doing here. Working with some of my closest friends who I deeply admire, who I deeply respect.
We're all engineers, we're experts. We collectively have 6 PhDs, 10 master's degrees.
Just have dealt with uncertainty, go-to-market, operation, supply chain.
We're all living and breathing the same exact things, challenges, opportunities that we hope to support at scale through our venture group.
Cascades is beyond just a funnel of investments. This is about building something that will withstand the test of time, that will last even when we're not here.
And trying to find a way to uplift the voices in our community, the problem solvers, the people who can really make a difference, who have amazing ideas, but haven't historically been at the table, haven't historically had access to capital.
Yeah, when we think about a change agent, it really is someone who has found alignment with the purpose, but also feels empowered to do something about it.
To make the things that they see a reality.
For us, it's not about just generating wealth, and it's also not just about giving a social impact. It's combining both.
There's so much at stake if we don't get this right. Our communities are consistently overlooked, underserved, and not supported by the systems that were put in place to look after, support, and serve. So it matters because if we don't do this right, if we're not able to cascade wealth and knowledge and resources, we'll continue to be dealing with many of the gaps in health and wealth and viability that we experience as a community today.
Our vision is to advance
Black and Latinx communities
by enabling access,
empowerment,
And ownership.
for a network of change agents.
We're looking for you.
Hello, change agents. My name is Jaleese Morris, and I am one of the general partners of Cascades Ventures, as you saw there in the video. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me clearly. Just want to make sure we're good there. All right, I'm seeing some thumbs. Good to see everyone. Well, we're excited to share a glimpse of what we've been building. I saw in the chat some folks are interested in learning more about us, so thank you so much for giving us your time this evening. We want to give you the opportunity to learn more about us, and more importantly, learn about how you can get prepared to get involved with Cascades. Before we dive in, let's do a few housekeeping items. This session is being recorded, so you know. So please keep yourself on mute unless you're speaking. Feel free to use the chat. I realize you guys have found that, and share any reactions, informations, or questions throughout the session. We want to certainly make sure that you walk away with the information that you came looking for. And at the end, we'll have an open Q&A to address any outstanding questions that we don't get to touch on. So with that, let's keep it going. So I want to start off by giving a short version of what Cascades is. We are an investment group, and we'll get into the types of deals that you can expect from us later on in the presentation. But for now, what's primarily important to know is that each of the deals that we will be working on will be centered around our mission to bridge the wealth, health, and digital divides in the Black and Latinx communities. We're not a VC company. We're not raising a fund at the moment. Our initial goals are to provide our community with access to deals, investing education, networking opportunities, and the chance to serve as co-investors in our deals. So 10 years ago, all 6 of us had met at Georgia Tech, and you heard we were doing our master's and doctorates in engineering. You could ask us why we were crazy later. All of our careers have made a path towards consulting at one point or another, and now the majority of us are out in industry doing health, aerospace, transportation, and tech companies. So we've seen a lot, we know a lot, and we want to make sure that we extend that information and education to others. Before we get into any more about Cascades, I want to give the other journal partners a chance to introduce themselves by sharing their name, where they currently live, and what excites them about Cascades. So let's begin with Tony. Tony, kick us off.
All right, thank you. Jadu, I am from Silver Spring, Maryland. Really excited to be here. And what I'm most excited about, as anybody who's part of my universe knows, is the community building that we're going to do together. This is really about all of us. This is not the 6 of us on this page presenting to you or building for you. We're going to all roll our sleeves up and get our hands dirty and build something incredible. So really looking forward to building community with everyone on this call. All right, we'll go to Byron.
How's it going, everybody? Family, Byron George, general partner Cascades, currently hailing from, I'll say from Louisiana, as I'm on a nomadic journey this year, but it's been a beautiful gift of freedom. I'm most excited. I don't want to tag on to Tony's answer, but a little bit of just seeing all the connective tissue that exists within our network. And I'm really excited about strengthening that and really deploying it towards things that we're really passionate about.
Jaleese Morris here again, currently in Atlanta, Georgia, but really excited. We've all been investing for years now, but just excited to have the opportunity to invest in things that matter to us and to make a difference.
Awesome. I'll go next. Jose Baltazar, calling you all from Miami. Good evening for the folks on the East Coast. I'm originally from Angola, so super excited about meeting new people and sharing our passion and our adventure that is Cascades. So really excited to have everyone here.
And I'm Brandon Johnson. So originally from New Jersey, but currently in Atlanta. And yeah, just really excited about supporting kind of the next generation of innovators. We mentioned change agents, especially in the areas that we're focusing on in our community, but supporting those entrepreneurs and founders and people who really want to make an impact and difference, and supporting them in a various number of ways, not just capital, but also value creation strategy, tapping into our network as well in order to support their growth and development. So that's really what's exciting for me.
Perfect. And Jacob Zagabe, I'm from Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta. I'm Atlanta through and through. Go Braves. We'll take the championship. And what am I most excited about? This is my dream. My dream is to do what I care about with the people I care about. And that's what Cascades is to me. Investing in the things that matter with friends, with colleagues, with people I deeply care about. So I'm super excited. This has been a long time coming, and really excited to share this with y'all today. So let's pop to the next slide. I'll talk a little bit more about what we're doing here. So at Cascades, our vision is to advance Black and Latinx communities by enabling access, empowerment, and ownership for a network of change agents. We say this all the time, we say it together, and we mean it, and we want to live it in what we do. But as we talk about that, the first question I always get is, are y'all raising a fund? And we're very upfront in saying, we're not right now. And actually, we're not a venture capital fund. We're a network of people that want to invest differently. And I know that may sound a little bit jargony, but what does it really mean? The way that I explain it is in 3 pieces: the how, the what, and the why. The how. We're not raising a fund. This is not you putting a bunch of money in as as an investor and checking in every quarter and seeing how your returns look and waiting 6 years to see what you may want to see, or 10 years. The way that we structure our deals are going to be different. It's going to be focused on really getting to know the deal and co-investing with us. And a big portion of that is about education and bringing everybody along on the journey as we invest, and investing in some things and not investing in others. So the how is going to be different than a fund. Point blank period. The barriers of entry are lower. We're going to be bringing people together to invest that could never invest in a venture capital fund. And that's super exciting. The second is the what. We're going to be focused on entrepreneurs. We're going to be focused on investors. We're going to be focused on the community, and working across all of those to find Black and Latinx founders who are doing amazing things, to find investors who typically don't have access to these types of deals, and to invest in our communities. You can go and put your funds in a lot of places. You can put them in the market. You can put them into real estate, or you can put them into something that matters. And that's what we're trying to build. And the last part is the why. And I think Tony captured it very well in the video. Why? Because we have to, right? Because we're looking across and seeing all these divides, and the three that we're focusing on very, poignantly are there. But the why is because we have to do it. We have to make change, and we have to drive it. And we think we could do it with a great group of people. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, and really what we're building. Go to the next slide, please.
So I'll build a little bit on what Jacob has introduced. I'm always listening to that man talk, so I'll try not to, do a disservice in any way. We really just want to kind of get a little bit in the details around like what this really means for you all, right? Because we're friends. We have been investing with one another for a few years now, and we've been having a lot of these conversations with many of you on this call. And so this is really just our call to kind of start to formalize and really connect and grow the vision that we've been bouncing around and playing around with for a few years now. We've done, over 7 figures worth of deals. We've learned across different asset classes, whether it's real estate, businesses, early stage debt deals. We'll talk a little bit more about what the differences are between those. And one of the common things that we found is that it's really important for us to be able to do it with people that we trust, that we know, and that we can learn with, right? And so that's really how we kind of want to structure what we're really wanting to bring to the table. And I want to emphasize Tony's point around like, this is not our vision as in like the 6 of us. This is our vision as in the entire network that we want to build. And the way that looks is that we're really going to focus on like, let's invest in the community first. Like let's kind of till our soil, make sure that we're creating the ecosystem, making sure that it's seamless, that people are making connections. If they're from the Caribbean, if they find a way to connect with each other, if they know founders from that space, that they know how to highlight those things and bring it to the network, right? So we want to make sure that we're that community element is strong, and the communication, the communication lines are open. Along with that, we also want to kind of meet everybody wherever they are on this journey. And I'm talking about on this journey in terms of mindset, but also in terms of experiences and knowledge, right? This is not just we can read you Rich Dad, Poor Dad and tell you to go invest in real estate. This is more so like, why are you investing? What's your relationship with money? How are you thinking about money? How are you thinking about planting seeds and building things that you really care about, and using money as an energy to do that, right? As others mentioned, we really want to focus on lowering the barriers of entry. And when we say that, we mean a lot of things that have existed in this space have been set up to keep people that look like us out, right? And so a big part of our mission is like, one, getting very creative, getting access to all the different creative ways to invest, and helping people understand wherever they are, wherever their risk tolerance is, there's a way for them to get invested in something that they really care about. On the other side of the house, like I know we talked a lot from like the investor standpoint, but we all know somebody who's extremely dope, who has a great vision, and maybe just needs a little bit of counsel, a little bit of capital, a little bit of structure just to get things going. And so we want this to really be a space that we can kind of help formalize some of those things. We'll highlight some of the founders that we've been able to work with thus far, and you can hear from them as well. And one big thing for that is giving them access to the capital that they need. And so when we say capital, I always like to expand that to we don't just mean dollars, right? We mean the financial element, obviously, the network, because we're not the only experts on this call. There's so much knowledge just on this one call right now that I can only imagine we can really build. So we were just hoping to kind of put that all together and let the magic kind of take over. You could go over the next slide. And so when we really thought about, well, I'll say when we went through our experiences with investing, I know I can speak personally for myself. Like, it initially started as just like, hey, this is a way I can make more money to hopefully be financially free, right? And along that way, like, I found that, like, if I didn't really care about the investment, then I'm not gonna find the affinity to it. I'm not gonna, be as involved with it. I'm not gonna add as much value to that space, right? And so we've been kind of playing with that kind of mindset in our approach in what are we really doing with our money? Because we can put our money in a lot of different places. We can put it anywhere. But like, what can we do that can actually really have an impact on our communities in a way that both, benefits us obviously as individuals, but also can really substantially move the needle? Because I feel like everybody on this call is that talented, whatever. I don't really like to use 10 because I think there's more than a tenth of us that are talented. There's that talented, that few that can really make significant changes for our communities. And so the way we structured that thinking is really just focusing on like where are we seeing the most like disparity within our communities, and we bucketed into kind of the 3 areas. And this is our initial focus. We know that there other things may come along the line that will evolve, but this will help us kind of harness this energy in a way that can really move the needle. And so we've put it into 3 buckets: the wealth divide, the digital divide, and the health divide. And you all can read, and you all probably know plenty of examples of where you've seen disparity in this, or things that were structurally, unfair or not set up for our community to succeed. And we want to make sure that we're investing in the companies in the areas that can really help close the gaps. So for example, for wealth, real estate's a big way for people to build wealth for themselves, but it's also a big way for you to change the dynamic of community. And so we want to really work with real estate strategies that are really aimed at impacting our communities in a positive way, helping to develop, not just to gentrify or kick people out, right? For the digital divide, like really focusing on companies that are really trying to close that access issue that exists, and now it's more exacerbated given COVID and the shift to remote working, right? And as you all know, the health divide, like the last couple of years, and what COVID has done to our community, and just all the different things that really impact health markers. We really want to find ways to impact all of those, because it's kind of, you can see kind of like a hierarchy of needs being addressed here, and none of this really matters if we don't have a healthy community and a family to focus on. So with that, I'll definitely take to Jaleese to talk a little bit more about the health divide element.
Thanks, Byron. So this is my grandmother. Her name is Dorcas May Robinson. And as you can see from her shirt, she was a very proud Jamaican. She was full of energy and spunk. She came to the States in the 70s, and she worked at a hospital for most of her career. And despite her big personality, like many Caribbean people in general, my grandmother dealt with several chronic diseases that I learned about later on in life. A lot of them that continued to pile up on each other, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. I mean, when you think about family histories, when you go into an office, I feel like I'm always checking a lot of the boxes. My grandma was able to get pretty good care for most of her life, but it certainly wasn't without fault. And I'm sure a lot of us have had our own healthcare struggles and asked questions like, I know this can be simpler. A lot of the questions that I try to address in my personal life. My grandmother dealt with trying to manage appointments and care and treatment plans in different states. She took a number of medications. She tried to manage the challenges that come when you have all of these different issues piling up on each other. So I'm sure if you look around in your family, many of us have had the experience with our grandparents, aunt, uncle, mom, dad, or whoever, where we've seen health issues greatly impacting our lives. But we know that from the statistics that they far greater impact the Black and Latinx communities. So that's why we're focused on tackling the issues that impact health. So if you go to the next slide, you can see just a few of the things that we're highlighting here. Limited diversity in providers, access to care, uninsurance, cost of coverage, and rates of illness. So we've begun to identify some of the startups. You can see some of them on the right-hand side that are addressing some of these issues. And we really want to continue to make sure that we support those startups and companies that are working toward eliminating some of these issues so that we can get the adequate care that we deserve. But we also know that healthcare, beyond just the care-related issues, there's a ton of other social determinants, macroeconomic factors that affect health outcomes, like access to healthy food options. So I'm gonna pass the mic to Brandon Johnson to introduce our special guest from one of our portfolio companies that's making a big impact in nutrition with their plant-based protein.
Thanks, Elise.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really excited. I think this is one of the highlights of our conversation tonight. And just to introduce Something Better Foods. So one of the companies we, as Cascades, initially invested in and partnered with, and just so excited to see where they are on this journey, directly impacting the health divide that Jalise so eloquently talked about, with access to healthy foods in our community, of course, but also where they're going. I think they can impact all communities, frankly. Some of the reasons that we initially looked at, and of course, we're happy to and really excited to partner with Something Better Foods. So one, of course, is the impact into the health divide, as we've talked about. Two, just the passion and experience from the founding team. So we're going to hear from Chef Chu in a bit, and we also have James on as well. So that passion really resonated when they spoke to us into what they're doing and why. Also, from a market potential, I'm sure I don't need to tell anyone here about companies and unicorns like me and others who are in this space, but I do have to say this team has a differentiated product, and we're really excited for them to get out there and really make waves. But of course, yes, this is an attractive market from a financial perspective as well, and early success. I'll leave that to Chef Chu to talk about, but already you can see they're in places like Whole Foods and Target, based out of the West Coast. Just really excited, and so I just want to introduce to the founders, and Chef Chu, we have you on.
How you doing? Good evening. Hello, everybody. Chef Chu is my real name. Like to say, as I always say, give you something to chew on. So it's good to meet you guys tonight, and happy to be here.
No, I really, really appreciate it. So we just want to, run a few questions by you. First off, in your own words, why is food kind of so important to our community, and how did that actually influence you and James to start Something Better Foods?
Yeah, absolutely. Jalise really shared kind of my same story. I grew up in a family. I grew up in Maryland, and I grew up in the country part of Maryland. So we ate squirrel, possum, you name it, we ate it, right? But a lot of heavy meat eating, country folk. It was good food, but a lot of our family members, I literally remember seeing many of my aunts and uncles, heart disease, diabetes, cancer. They're in their 40s, and literally, they got these issues. And sadly, many of them begin to die in their early 50s. So seeing that at a young age, I was a crazy kid in my family. At 18 years old, I went literally plant-based, went vegan at 18. That was in 2001 when it wasn't popular. It wasn't really this big fad as we see right now with Beyond and Impossible, all these big companies. But I wanted to create foods that I grew up on. So for us, food is our community, food is our culture. And I wanted to create products that represented where I came from. So I wanted to make plant-based taste good. So I literally started in 2001, all the way up until now, creating products, creating foods that would resonate with our community, that would have that texture, that taste. My last name being Chew, C-H-E-W, would have that chew that would be delicious. And I literally, we created this company, Something Better Foods, to bring a solution to our communities, providing something better, changing lives one chew at a time. And that was the heart of the mission, man. Exactly what you guys are seeking to invest into.
I love it. Love to hear it. And we've all tasted it, and it is fantastic. So honestly, I can't wait to get some of the folks on this call to really have a taste. Just candidly, how has it been working with Cascades so far?
Man, it's been amazing. Obviously we're a startup company in an industry that's literally, it's one of the fastest growing spaces in food. They're projecting plant-based to be literally, I think it's like a $14 billion industry in the next couple of years. So the numbers are just astronomical, but at the same time, I mean, we are, again, going into stores like Whole Foods. We're talking to stores like Target. We're in some of the leading vegan restaurants. There's a lot of strategy that goes behind this when it comes to additional fundraising, when it comes to next moves, and your team has been phenomenal. We've been able to have literally think tank sessions. As you guys said, it wasn't just about the money. I think that obviously the investment was significant. You guys gave a big investment, but secondarily, which I even almost say most importantly, you gave the knowledge. And I think the network that you're doing and being able to have a call and you can connect us with, a friend that you guys knew in your network that was able to give us advice on our next move. I think that was all I had to say. The knowledge is so critical. I mean, wealth is created through knowledge as well as the investment. And you guys have been instrumental in supporting us with the knowledge as we're making critical decisions, even as we speak. As of like 2 weeks ago, we had an hour-and-a-half call with your team and really was instrumental helping us to make some strategic decisions. So it's just been, it's an ongoing, and I'm sure I probably call you and have another call, in the next few weeks about next moves. And so you guys have just been there for us as we're building. So that's what it's all about.
No, I really appreciate it. And it's been fantastic to work with you all, especially such a great high-powered team. The sky's the limit for you all, and we can't wait to continue that partnership. And I guess just last, what's next for you all, and where can some of the folks on the call get a sample of some of this great food?
Absolutely. So right now again, we're based in the West Coast. So a lot of our products are found in the West Coast. We're all throughout California. We're in a bunch of stores throughout the West Coast. So you can go to Eat Better Chew. So eatbetterchew.com. You can actually see our locations where we're located. One thing that we're really excited about, we're right now starting our mission is to democratize access. And so we're literally creating a distribution model where we're going to be working and doing pop-up concepts all throughout the country. So we're literally going to be doing one in DC this Christmas. We're going to be we're launching one in Atlanta next year. We have some in LA that's going to be starting. So we're literally partnering with organizations, community organizations, and bringing our products right to the community, a lot more affordable than you can get at some of the grocery stores. And we have a distribution model that we're building as we speak to democratize access. So please just look at our Instagram, our IG at Better Chew. You're going to see at a location coming to your city. Again, we're going to be in DC, Atlanta, LA, the Bay Area, and Oakland, and we got select cities that we're growing in over the next months. And so we're excited, man. We're raising capital and looking to take this company to the next level in the next 12 months. So really excited. Lastly, we have a 30,000 square foot facility that we're actually looking at as we speak. So that's our next big move for 2022. We're hoping to literally have a complete automated manufacturing facility owned by a Black-owned company, providing jobs to Black and Latino communities in Vallejo, California. So we got some really big moves that we're making next year to really expand the scale of our food manufacturing. So we're really excited about what the future looks like.
All right, as are we. And wish we had more time to dive in. We'd love to have you guys back and dive into a little bit more and have you guys share a little more about your journey and be able to help some of the other folks in this network, and of course give those folks also an opportunity to invest in you as well. Really appreciate the time, both Chef Chu and James. So for now, I'm going to pass the ball to Jose. He's going to tell him a little bit about what our commitments are to you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brandon, and Chef Chu, always with an amazing energy. I gotta say, like, I love meat. Like, I probably ate a cow when I was born, but Chef Chu, you have converted me. You guys have to try that stuff. It's amazing. So what are our commitments to you? So the first one is we'll have fun. You can see, like, this is not like a formal investment fund call, like with all bells and whistles. We are really here to create community and work together. And we expect that you guys will have fun and you'll be part of us of the journey. The second one is we will build wealth. So I think there was a question there and Tony answered, right, which is someone asked, are we an impact fund? And we want to generate wealth and have returns, and while doing that, create an impact. So wealth is what we want to go for, and that's what we want to build. And then last but not least is we will change our communities. I think when this idea came through and when we started working all together, there was a lot of things happening in the world. There was a lot of protests going on. There was, really our community was hurting, and there was a lot of things that was going through. And this group came together because we want to change our community. We don't want to be in that position. We want to break the cycle. So it's a lot of the things that you have heard in the past, but we want to work together and make it happen. Next slide.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. So we are really, really excited to be getting this community together, not just because we're going to build wealth and change our communities, but because we're going to do it together. So I'll just emphasize what I stated earlier, which is we're not doing this alone. There might be 6 talking heads speaking to you tonight, but there are at least 79 other people or 79 people on this call tonight in a broader community that we're all going to tap into: friends, family members, partners, companies that we've invested in, bosses that are going to help make this experience incredible for everyone. So we're excited to build this with you all, and there are a few things that we've already set up that we'll be bringing to you all as general partners, but this is really yours, right? You should consider this family, this community your own, and we'll share a couple more ways that you can show your commitment to our community in a bit. But let me talk about the 3 different categories of offerings that we're going to bring to you all in the next several months. And this list will grow and grow and grow. And our hope and dream is that, a year from now, we're talking about even more cascading of wealth than what we're teeing up right now. So Jacob shared our vision earlier. Part of our vision is increasing access, empowerment, and ownership for a network of change agents. So let me talk a little bit about what that means, and then I'll share the few things that we'll be bringing to you all over the next few months. Access is all about deal flow, right? There are many people, I'm sure some people on this call, that don't have access to several of the deals that we've done, asset classes, investment vehicles that traditionally haven't been made available to people who look like us, to people at certain income and wealth levels, to people in certain communities. So a big part of what we're doing is making it clear how you can, given who you are today and the experience you have and the income that you're making, step into some of the things that you might not even know are opportunities to build wealth in your communities. So we'll be doing that by providing ongoing deal flow. We'll have a bi-weekly newsletter, which will share deals, tips, just in general, how you can get involved and exposed to different ways to invest. And then we'll have a quarterly new member onboarding where during that onboarding, we'll really do a lot of the coaching to help people understand the doors that they need to open to establish financial stability and then wealth creation from an investment standpoint. Empowerment, this is one that I get really, really excited about. I'm a coach in addition to being a general partner here and a few other things, but we want to build muscle, right? This isn't just about saying, here's how to make money, do it. It's about building understanding, building empowerment, ensuring that everyone can, independent of this community, go on and build wealth in their families and their communities and some spread the flame that we're going to be igniting here. So we'll have a ton of meetings where you'll be able to join and engage with our community, talk to experts, many of which are already on this call, talk to founders and CEOs, network, and really learn what's going on across the broad landscape of investing. And then we'll also provide discounted access to professional and investment coaching services if folks actually want dedicated support from coaches, both part of the network and from our partners. And then lastly, ownership. This one's really, really important. And I think a lot about this. Football is pretty much the only sport that I watch right now. And every single time I watch a football game, I'm overwhelmed with how much Black and brown talent is on the field and how little Black and brown talent is in the general management, in the ownership. And oftentimes you see these models, whether they be companies or entire industries, where you have people creating value, working on the ground, killing themselves to create, billions of dollars of wealth for people at the top of these organizations that don't represent them, their causes, or their interests. So part of what we're doing is to ensure that we shift away from value extraction, which is generally what's happened in the Black community. We've been innovating since we've been innovating before America was founded. But here in America, we built this country, and all that value has been, systemically and systematically stripped from us. So how do we actually maintain ownership? How do we create value in our community and share that amongst the community? So we'll be doing that by sharing opportunities for you all to co-invest with us. So as we build, as we own, as we build wealth, you'll do the same. And we'll have quarterly meetings where we come together and simply talk about that. How do we all become equity owners in things that create generational wealth for us and our families? So really, really excited to be sharing all of these things with you all. And if you are specifically excited about anything on this page or more, don't hesitate to reach out to us, info@cascadesvg.com, and we'll share more opportunities to get involved or even maybe tap you to build it yourself. Next slide, Brandon, and then I think we're close to wrapping. So 3 asks of you, and these are simple, but really, really, really important. The first is spread the word. We cannot build this community without your support. We cannot build this community without your friends, your family members. And I literally was serious when I said your bosses and coworkers. This is not just for all the people that are on the call right now. Help us spread this far and wide. Very, very low commitment to get involved. And we hope that there's power in numbers, and as the community grows, the opportunities do as well. 2, share companies that fit our thesis. These could be startups. These could be people doing kind of real estate deals and looking for funding. These could be small businesses that need coaching and need strategic counsel on how to access capital. If any companies fit our thesis around bridging the health, wealth, and digital divides, please send them our way. And Byron, again, just put the email in the chat. Last thing I'll say is grab some swag. So a few of us have our Wealth Builder hoodies on. We got onesies, we got toddler tees, we got t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and this is like super comfortable. So I'm definitely gonna rock this till the threads fall off. But we're building a business, and right now we don't have many revenue generating levers in the business. So please do show your support by copying a hoodie, copying a shirt, buying a gift. Thanksgiving and Christmas are around the corner. So grab some swag, join the community, and become a wealth builder by grabbing something from our website, and the URL is in there as well. So with that, we did leave a ton of time, or enough time, I should say, for some Q&A, but I just personally want to thank everyone that's here on behalf of the general partners. We are thrilled to be working with you all and cannot wait to do some incredibly exciting and wealth generating things. So with that, I'll pass it over to Byron, and he's going to lead us through some Q&A. We got some great questions in the chat, so we'll start there. And anyone's welcome to come off mute and ask a question if you have a burning one.
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, so as you mentioned, you did get a few questions in the chat, but would be happy to take them live as well. Can we go ahead and drop the, I do love that picture of us laughing at Tony. So love to see pictures too. So I think one of the main questions that came up during this discussion, and I can take that one, and we can kick around some of the others, was around the question around accredited investors. So this goes to the whole barriers of entry, kind of element that we're really focusing on and trying to get creative and finding ways around it, right? So for those that don't know, there is a law that exists around investing in like pre-seed, publicly traded companies that requires you to be an accredited investor, which is just essentially you have to make, I think, 200,000 or 250,000, whatever the latest is, in order to be able to invest in these types of companies. And as you can tell, like, that's just an infrastructural law that exists to keep wealth where it currently exists and to keep people like us out, right? But there are a whole lot of new, more innovative ways that we're really exploring to get involved in these deals. There's debt structured deals that don't have those same laws. There's crowdsourcing that kind of makes all, like, a kind of crowd funds from a bunch of different people and different sources and makes it one line on the what we call a cap table on an investment. And so we're trying to explore all the different ways for anyone, whether you have 5,000 or 100,000 or whatever you're looking for, to find both the asset class, but also the spaces and the industries that you're really excited about. So you can kind of focus both of those things together. Any live questions? Anybody have any questions top of mind?
Yeah, I do have a couple of questions. Hey guys, super excited for you guys, super excited for this venture. I have a few questions. One of them was asked in the chat, so I won't ask that one. But I love the concept of investing for impact. So my question related to that is, do you have criteria for the types of investments that you're going to go into? I mean, I know you talked about the 3 areas, right? So health, wealth, the digital divide. But besides that, like when you look at an investment option, do you have some criteria that you're using to make a decision on whether or not you spread that to the membership? And then the second part of that question is, will there be like minimum investment levels for the different deals or the different options that come on the table?
Jay, you want to take that one?
Absolutely. And hey, Margaret, good to see you. So a few thoughts on that one. One, how do we think about, the return hurdles that we want to see on different investments? Well, unlike a normal venture capital fund, we're not investing in one asset class, right? We're going to be investing in real estate. We're going to be investing in venture deals. I think across, we're going to have different targets for each of them. And it's going to change depending on the stage we're investing, kind of what's going on. The cleanest often is real estate because it's very clear where you're putting your money, what type of risk you're looking at. And I think as we get into venture, it'll be a little bit different in the way that we've thought about it. That said, as we invest and the minimums and different pieces like that, I would think of it in two ways, right? There are going to be opportunities to co-invest. So there will be likely, minimums there. Administratively, it's just going to be tough to, we probably won't be looking for $100 of investment, right? Well, we will have minimums, and we're going to have the barriers to entry as low as possible. For a lot of venture capital funds, you're looking in the millions or at least in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think we're going to be looking in the 5 to 10K range as minimums for a lot of those deals. And we'll do them through syndicates that'll allow us to have kind of a group of people investing in, let's say, a real estate deal or something like that. On the other side is we want to create deal flow that isn't co-investment, right? So getting just deals in front of people, right? Every deal doesn't have to have everybody involved. You may just see something that you're interested in, and we want to be putting that in front of you to reach out to a founder or to reach out to a real estate investor who's looking to rehab a property that you may be interested in having some equity in. So, as we think about the minimums, that's that piece and the deal flow and what we co-invest, but there's this whole other side of getting investments in front of people, letting you vet these deals, letting you see things that you may want to go after outside of Cascades, totally on your own, which is totally awesome as well. And we see it as a win.
Awesome, thank you.
The only thing I'll add to that is just the emphasis on the education element of it, right? Because yes, we'll probably have a filter in terms of how we assess the deals that are coming to us before we bring them to you all. But we also want all of us to refine our own criteria to just select which deals that we will want to co-invest in as well. So we'll have spaces, sessions around how to think about assessing a real estate deal, assessing a long-term equity deal in a business, and hopefully that we can all learn that together. I saw a common question come up around, are the businesses purely domestic? I'll say here, I'll take this one. The thinking right now is that we are open. It is really important to us to feel like we can have a very substantial relationship with the business themselves in terms of being able to have that kind of counseling, coaching, access to expertise, access to networks, similar to how Chef Chu describes how we work with him and James at Better Chew. So that's going to be an important parameter in this, but we are open to hopefully making impact in the communities that really are, close to us. We know everybody on this call probably have ties to other areas outside of North America, and so we want to be open in terms of how we think about those. One other question, Tony, do you want to take the pipeline question? You mind highlighting what the question was and giving an answer?
Yeah, for sure. I think there was a question around how we build the deal flow, the pipeline for deals that we'll be bringing to the community. So there are many folks that lead syndicates that are starting funds. I'm going to put some people on the spot just because I know they wouldn't mind. And we are all here to add value. This isn't hoarding. So Allison Pritchett is on the call. She has an incredibly successful real estate endeavor where she's buying huge multiple unit complexes and returning a lot of value to her co-investors. Bram Rose is in here, seasoned entrepreneur, expert, accredited investor times X. I won't put the X in there and share how much you've made off of selling multiple businesses and now leading syndicates and starting a fund where he'll be raising $10 million to invest in responsible AI. Those are just two examples of people on the call right now that are raising capital for things that are literally building our community in the exact same way that we're trying to do around the three divides. So our plan is to not reinvent any wheels, but go out there and figure out who's doing incredibly powerful things that we believe has financial upside and is also building community around the three divides. and we will bring those things to us, to the community. Now, there's another question about how we actually evaluate deals. We're not just going to throw everything at you. So we are all experts. We're consultants, entrepreneurs, PhDs in many cases. And part of what we're going to do in terms of adding value is evaluating those deals, vetting them before we bring them to you. So our plan is to build strong partnerships so that the deal flow kind of comes organically. And we'll also set up some outbound ways to understand what's going on in the market and bring those opportunities to you as well. Great question.
And let me just hop on that as well. I think one of the ways we really want to establish this deal flow is through you all, right? Through this network. So the people on this call come from you have your own networks, right? And we would love for you to be able to tap into those. And I've had conversations with many people on this call. Hey, have you heard about this company, this company? I mean, we want access to that as well, right? And so feel free, hopefully you have our email contact information by now. Send it through us. We want you to be a big part of what that deal flow is. But of course, as Tony mentioned, we also have access with other partners and then people coming, founders coming directly to us as well. But again, want you all to be a big part of that deal flow.
Jaleese, one question came up as like, how will we be able to communicate with others in this community?
Great question. So we have a few social accounts. You can find us on Instagram. We have a Facebook group, Twitter, and a LinkedIn group. Those will be great places to connect. We're primarily on Instagram and LinkedIn if you're looking to stay up to date on latest events and members who are also a part of the community. That's going to be the best place where you can get real time. And as Tony mentioned earlier, you'll also be able to find out information outside of the community through the biweekly emails that we'll be sending out as well.
Mm-hmm. And this is all evolving, right? We'll be honest with you, right? Like, I think as we start to operationalize things a little bit more in the new year, as deals start to come in, we may shift to like a Slack type situation where we can have sub channels for particular asset classes, deals, industries, so that we have the one-stop access. So we're not the middle men and women between you all connecting with one another. Let's see. Any other questions? Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss any other questions. If they have any other live ones, feel free to shoot them out. Let me check Slack.
Yeah, there's one in the chat that just came in. I think this is an interesting one that I think it was you that just said it, Byron, to your point on us still structuring things. We'll be transparent in where we are and where we want to be. The question is, in establishing deal flow from this awesome community, will there be a mechanism for us to know which ones are already under evaluation to reduce redundancy? So short answer is yes. The longer answer is we don't have that exact mechanism stood up yet. Jose, you might have done some thinking behind it. We just had a meeting on this, and Jose, if you want to share some of your early thoughts, feel free, but we'll absolutely stand that up so you guys will know exactly what we're offering and where we are.
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of things that I'll add to that, and maybe I'm going to be follow up on the questions, right? We want to build this and we want to make sure that we bring to you like the deals and the areas that you'll be able to invest with us as we are evaluating. So for example, Better Chew is a great example. Right? It came through Brandon, a connection with James, and they had met each other. We had evaluated a series of deals. So in terms of connecting or keeping things simple, is we paste our email, so info@cascadesvg.com. If you have any deals that you want to send, you send it to us. We have a cadence that we're going to be communicating with the platform, and Tony can talk about that, where you're going to be getting weekly to bi-weekly emails from us in a synopsis. Here's the things that we are working on and how we can go in and grow the deals. There was a question around like what sort of companies are we planning to invest? So right now, we really focus on early stages company for equity deals. But if there is something that you're really passionate about, we'll jump in and we may be able to do so. A couple of us have done some deals on real estate, for example, with Allison and other ones. So we're very flexible. But I would say the main scope right now is really around early stage, private deals. I can take this last one that just came. What examples of previous deals? So as we said, we did Better Chew. We have done some deals in real estate with, we did one with Allison, a couple others that, some of the folks here can talk about. And then on top of that, there's a couple other companies that I think each of us are advising and working with them. I can open the stage and, each of us can talk about it, that experience that we are involved in it and helping them grow.
Yep. And I think one thing, just to kind of like narrow in why we are choosing to be this flexible, it's both so we can help address each of these divides, but it's also so we can match you all where you are on your journey. So for an early investor, doing an easy debt deal on a real estate where I give you 10,000 and you give me back 15,000 in a year, that's a great first step to start to get a taste and have that mindset shift of like, oh shit, now I'm an investor. And that's how you build the confidence to like, okay, now I want to do more longer term equity deals in a business that may be a little bit more risky, but also may have a larger payout, right? So we want to be able to take everybody on this journey wherever they are and find a way for them to get involved earlier on. I saw this, did some of those questions get answered around companies that have ideas? I think that's one thing that's really where we want the strength of the community to start to take on some of these responsibilities as well, to where we're not the linchpin for any type of offering or service, right? You have many of us that are executive coaches on this team as well that love to just hop on the phone and provide advisory services for starting businesses and ideas to help you structure and think through those things. But it's not just going to be us six; it's going to be many people on this call, and so we hope that's something that can formalized from the network itself. But the focus of the GPs is really about creating the flow for deals and giving you all the access and the education that you need, which I think tied to the next question that I saw was like, what's the next steps? What's the next way that we can convene? So we'll be interacting with each of you, some individually, some through social network throughout this year. We're laying out the quarterly and sometimes intermittent meetings around particular topics that we really want to address. So a lot of it will be focused on education and you all getting to know each other and hearing less of us speaking and having more of your own engagement. A lot of it will probably start with just like the mindset around investing and building wealth, and really kind of take it from there. We're hoping to have some regional type meetings in person just to kind of get a little bit more of that energy back that COVID took from us. And also we're excited to have a presence at many of the big conferences like NSB, Afrotech, other things like that. So we can kind of continue these conversations, leverage the networks that already exist within our communities so we can kind of put that to work as well. Team, any other big questions that you saw? I think there's a few that came in.
One thing I might just highlight, we keep on saying deals, and like when you say deals, it's very simple. It's like, oh, here's a deal, go take it, right? And what deal really may mean is like an introduction, right? It may mean, hey, I've got this friend who's doing this amazing company that really needs great investors, right? And that turns into a 6-month conversation or a year or 2-year conversation before it's quote unquote deal. So as we think about all of this, right, that connective tissue is super important. Conversations are super important. Understanding, working together. A lot of this human capital is super important, and deals come, right? And they come in time and they come together. But we very rarely start with a deal. There's rarely an email that comes into my inbox. It's deal, go do it. Also wanted to call that out.
Yeah, for one example, like at Chef Chu, we're a part of a pitch competition that we had for a handful of companies that were 4 or 5 steps within the process. And we're hoping to replicate some of that, get some of you involved with the pitch competitions as judges, as helping us with the criteria and thinking about assessing them before we bring them to the broader group. So look forward to just kind of hearing from us on those elements as well. I know we're at time. We may hang on for a few and play a little music. Feel free to engage in the chat. And like Jaleesa and the team said, like look out for, follow us on all of the platforms. I mean, if any of my friends know me that I can't stand social media, and I'm actually engaging on social media just because of how much I care about this vision. So if that gives you any indication of how excited about this we really are, that should do it. So grab your swag, follow us, reach out to us at info@cascadesvg.com if you're having ideas, thoughts that we can get started. And thank you all so much for joining on a Tuesday night, very late after daylight savings time, and rest up. And we're excited to build with each and every one of you.